Hi, welcome to JewishTV.media. My name is Rabbi Yankee Berger, and today we're going to talk about details. We all know that details are important, but I'm going to share with you a little incident that happened a short while back. I'm a rabbi of a synagogue, and during the day, many people come into the synagogue to do various mitzvot. One of the things they do is they come to put on the tefillin, the phylacteries, the handpiece and the headpiece that men and boys over 13 put on. And I told this gentleman, I was showing him how to put on the tefillin. You put it on your arm and you wrap it 7 times around your hand. And he asked me a good question. He said, does God really care if I put it on my arm? What if I put it on my leg? Do I not get the mitzvah? Do I not tick the box? Do I not make God happy if I put it on my leg? Why my arm? Why do the head tefillin have to be exactly in the center of my, just above my forehead? What if it's to the side? Do I not fulfill God's will? And that's a really good question. And that is what I want to address today. The details in the various commandments. It says that if you look at a person's body, you could understand how the mitzvot, how these commandments, these godly commandments work. So let's look at the body for a moment. The body, there are so many limbs and faculties within the body, but let's talk about the ears and the eyes for a moment. So the eyes see and the ear hears. Is that correct? Well, in a sense, yes, and in a sense, not. Because the eye doesn't necessarily see. Take a person who's not alive. They have eyes, but they can't see and they can't hear. So what exactly is making you hear and see? And the answer is, it's a spiritual energy called the energy of sight that makes you see. The energy of audio, of hearing, makes you hear, and etc. The various energies are sent to the different body parts, and that body part hosts that specific energy and makes it function. So how does a body part function? Well, it's a combination of 2 things. A combination of the body part, the eye, and the spiritual energy which is contained by the eye. You see, they work together. The spiritual energy of sight could only be contained by the eye, not by the ear. The spiritual energy of hearing could only be contained and hosted by the ear and not by the eye. Now, what if the body part is not intact? What if the eye, and unfortunately, it's quite sadly, there are many people who perhaps is something wrong with their eye. They can't see properly. What's happening? What's happening is the physical body part is not an appropriate host to host that energy of sight. You see, the energy of sight needs a completely intact physical body part in order to be a suitable host for that specific energy. Same thing applies to our performance of God's commandments. Every time you do God's commandments, a spiritual energy comes down to the world. You fulfill God's will. But that spiritual energy is manifested and hosted by a physical act, a physical deed, a body part. In the case of tefillin, yes, God says, put on tefillin on the arm and on the head in that specific way. The body part needs to be intact. You can't put it on your leg, because then that body part is not going to be the suitable and appropriate host to host that spiritual energy which descends and manifests itself in that physical body part. You see, the physical body part needs to be intact. The physical mitzvah needs to be complete. Tefillin needs to be on the arm and on the head, in the center. Matzah has to be eaten on Pesach, on the first night at a certain time, and so on, with all the details of all the commandments. And that is why the details of the commandments are indeed important. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you again soon.
JewishTV.media